talking about sitting out towards the legs. So we just showed this one. John's got his posture. Okay. As you know, though, people can be in this arm position. Can you just move out of the way for me? So now, sitting out, you're not always going to just sit towards John's head. Okay, from here, I'm in this arm position, right? Giving some pressure. And then there's also sitting out this way. Very common here is where people are going to set up mounting, okay, the most substantial one. People can also set up leg locks. There's the guys that play, like Eddie Bravo is pretty famous for setting up twisters from here, and they'll thread their legs and roll. All sorts of different stuff. But the first main one we worry about is somebody mounting us from here and getting to a very dominant position. So we need to talk about this position first. And first I'm going to go, assuming that you keep your elbows in good posture, then we'll talk about what happens if your elbows get beaten. But again, from here, if I have this staggered arm position, okay, arm by the head on the far side, my other hand here by his thigh, I'm playing this game, okay, all I need to do is switch my base. If you have this arm position, you're going to move your arm over. Before I take my knee away, I first put in my check, and I'm going to switch to that arm position, and then I'm going to switch. Okay, so my chest is in John's chest, and I'm sitting here. Okay. Let's go ahead and switch that. Good. So you're squared up to me, then you're going to sit towards my legs. Okay. Now from here, guys, the good news is I treat this the same. Same as I do in the other direction. The only thing I'm going to make sure is that I'm always checking him with my leg. Okay, yes, I know he's got some attacks he can do on my leg, but I'm not just going to hang here forever, right? What I do want to make sure is that he can't just throw his leg over and comfortably mount it. The good news here is this, right? When John sits and I can keep my elbow in place, okay, from here, he's not quite where he wants to be. He'd like to be a little bit further back with his hip. But all I'm going to do from here, okay, is just maintain this position. If anything, I might improve this one right here, okay? So maybe I just like wiggle a little bit like this, and I move myself up. And now John's sitting here. I've got him checked. Now this looks exactly like the last position when he was sitting towards my head, right? And that's totally intentional. Now it's going to feel a little weird for John because he's so low on my body. Like he's not on my chest. He's not even on my sternum, right? He's basically on my hips. So if I weren't even defending the mount right now and John were to throw his leg over, okay, he's going to be out of position. Makes sense? This is where if you're in John's position, he's going to start to try and figure out how to recover his arms, control my legs, and crawl back up my body typically because he's going to realize he's too low, right, to really have control. So I'm in the same position. And now from here, if he's just kind of camping out and trying to bide his time, I'm just going to treat this the same. I bridge, and then from here, okay, just don't move first, because this is the ideal scenario where you kind of catch him unawares, right? So John's still in here like this. So I connect my elbow to my knee, and then from here, I wind up on the back. That's beautiful. Okay, let's just scoot that way over. So right here, okay, John is kind of camped out. Maybe he's not high on me. I've kind of stopped him, but he's perhaps high enough that he's capable of still throwing his leg over the mount. So let's just talk about this for a second. Or another scenario where I may have to do this is, again, if he's backed up a bit more even, and I've kind of tried to wiggle back, but I don't have it yet, or what have you. Okay, again, I can't just plant my feet on the mat for very long and hang out if he's high at all, because the moment I do that, I've opened up this space, and now he's going to mount, right? So anytime I'm in doubt, okay, I'm going to try and get a little bit of rotation, foot on the floor. Okay, so right now my hips aren't completely squared. I'm going to get a little bit of rotation, and I'm going to protect. Okay, protect just means I'm going to bring my foot up, or excuse me, my thigh up and have it touch John, right? So he knows right now, again, there are offenses he can do. I'm aware he might try and attack my leg, what have you. But from here, the main thing that I don't want him to do is mount, right? So in order to mount, he's going to have to get rid of this leg. Or I'm just going to have it so lazy that he just ignores it, right? But if it's touching him, he's going to go to push it down. And if he does, I bring this one up. And then this one, he's going to have to push it out of the way, or tap it and pull it towards him, what have you. I'm just going to play this game. Meanwhile, I'm always trying to get him a little bit lower on my body, but he may follow me, so on and so forth. So we just kind of play this game in here a little bit, where as soon as he goes to get rid of one leg, the other one replaces it automatically. Okay? This one he's trying to pull it towards him, this one comes up. Now, from here, first scenario is I catch him. Okay, so he pulls the trigger. So from here, let's say he goes to make the move, throw the leg over. Okay? Oh, go back for a second. Okay. So from here, I've got this up, you're going to push it down, throw the leg over. Boom, I catch him. Okay? Now this is cool, because I have quite a bit here in terms of options. Okay? For one, right, I can just kind of spit him back over, right? But the other thing from here that's kind of nice is I've got this hook. The stronger place to put this hook is actually to move him this way. So from here, okay, I bring my arm in, I lift, and now I put him right into the back position, right? I'm not going to be super specific about what to do from there, but you saw I like to snake my arm over just because I always have the ability to attack either a rear naked or a collar choke from there. But that's a nice little avenue for you. Okay, so from here he goes to push that down. This catches, right? So I can go this way, but the thing is, I just have to be a little bit careful because he could just ride this leg back and then kick his out right now. Yeah, exactly. Or he could use his arm to kind of barbed wire and cross face me like this. So as I put my hook back in, I start to ride him this way, and he does this, and oh no, I'm in really bad shape, right? So what I prefer to do if I'm in this situation, okay, let me catch it again, from here, is just be nice and sensitive there, okay? So I bring this over, and I'm actually going to pull him over my hips, and now from here, just feed that in, now you have a nice back position, okay? So that's the first one, and this is, again, assuming that his arm is below my arm, same towards my legs, but he's a little bit high. He's kind of camped out in there. He's high enough on me, maybe not all the way up here, right? But he's high enough on me to throw that leg over. So I get a little angle, and it's just one of the legs always in contact. At the point that he goes to throw that over, I catch, okay, and I just pull him over me, and then scoot out. Okay. So one more situation here that we haven't talked about yet is, actually let me go this way, so you're still cross-body, is so far we've had John below my arms, even when he was crept up here, and I recovered, he was below my arms, okay? But as you know, if you go arm on the far side, so chest to chest, but arm on the far side, head, right? As you know, sometimes from here, let me just get my arm in quick. Sometimes as John switches his base, okay, his elbow stays up here like this, right? Makes sense? We've all had that happen too. So he's not actually trying to be quite on my lower chest. He's kind of sitting up high on my upper chest. I have the same challenge here with this arm, but let's just spin a little bit. So essentially this works mostly the same, but with a little bit of a hybrid from other things we talked about. So this arm, if it's killed too much, it's always a problem for me. So again, I'm going to try and wiggle and get it down, get this elbow down as low as I possibly can. What about this arm? Okay, this one I'm going to shoot through. Again, if you wanted to feed a Kimura from here or something, right, I can kind of follow him with this. I can use the magic handle here to grip, okay, to kind of stay with him. And if he wants to lose it, that means that I'll probably be able to come over on top of him because he has to lean back in order to do that, or stand up off me, which means I have plenty of space. So again, I try and vary this arm as much as I can. This one I shoot towards an underhook, and I may only be able to just kind of keep my fingers in his armpit. But while I do that, okay, if he wants to maintain tightness and control over me, it should be pretty hard for him to totally dominate this arm, right? And if he wants to slide his right arm back to capture that wrist, go ahead. And now bring his other arm in and start to attack me, right? And then I've gotten pretty deep into that, so we'll go back here for a second, okay? I'm just kind of taking you through the position a little bit. So from here, right, he tries to do that again. He leans his shoulders back. Okay, so kind of one or the other. It's hard for him to do both at the same time. But we're in essentially the same game as before. Okay? Right now, he tries to push this leg down. Good, this one comes up, so on and so forth. So if he goes to mount me, and I hook, now it's exactly the same as what we talked about before. Okay, I have to load his hips over my hips. The only difference now, right, is that I could potentially go either way, right? He's not going to barbed wire me and get my own arm like in an arm triangle over my arm. So here, I have the opportunity to go this way. I just want to make sure I don't go into a guillotine, right? But I lift, okay, and I bring him in, and I can pass. Or simply move my hips the other way, right? This way. And make my adjustments to take the back. And that's really up to you. You know, it goes by feel to some extent, personal preference on the other. But that's the main thing, just being able to protect that position. Okay?